I was looking for international options, and Europe was my primary destination because I did not wanted to study for 2 years again, and most of the American B schools have a 2-year MBA. So I was looking for a 1-year MBA program, and Europe, I had shortlisted a lot of colleges in Europe, and IÉSEG was one of them. IÉSEG, why? Primarily because France is a hub for a lot of different industries, fashion, uh, automobile, or aviation, and that's the reason I wanted to do it in France. And also because ASEC has a very cost-effective. It's one of the best in terms of ROI. It has one of the it's on the lesser side. It's also triple accredited B school, and that was my primary motivation for it. And I got to know about this SPJIMR GMP through, I guess, the magic of digital marketing, because I had constantly typed in ESEG in my Google search, and one fine day GMP popped up in my Google Ads, and I was just curious about it in the beginning, and then I saw this one of a kind course, dual degree course where you get the best of both worlds. You have the Indian pedagogy and the alumni of SPJIMR, and also the international exposure, and with quite a considerable discounted fees. So that's it. That after that, I did not have any second choices, and I gave my interview, and here I am now. Yeah, that's it about me.
Yeah, I will go next. I'm Namitha Sunny, and like Zeal said, after engineering, I was also working for like 2 years. Though I learned a lot from my job and people over there, I also felt like I was stagnant in my job. And also, I felt like I was more inclined towards management rather than quality controlling. That's why I decided to join MPA, and I did CAT as well. And after CAT, I got into a couple of B schools in India as well. And GMP, I found about GMP from one of the alumni, and it sounds so interesting to me. And it was a difficult choice to choose between studying abroad and in India. But like Jason said, it's best of both worlds. So that's why I joined GMP, and particularly Nyenrode, because my interest always aligned with supply chain management. And the course I took, global business, which is inclined towards supply chain. That's the reason why I took Nyenrode and global business. Yeah, that's all about me. Thank you.
So hello everyone. So I'll go next. So I am Prateek Singh, and for me, a story is a mix of all the three stories we have heard till now. So I started at Toyota, as told before. I was a production engineer for new vehicle launches. I actually love my job. I learned a lot. I'm a very conventional automotive guy, but there comes a point where you're like, oh, there is a repetition of tasks happening, and now I need to move to next step. There I decided to go for my master's. For me, it was a very clear choice to go for my master's in Germany, because again, automotive, and Germany is an automotive hub. And that was the time I came across GMP. And again, as everybody told, it's a really fascinating course. You get best of both worlds, let's say that. And hence I joined GMP, came to EBS. I did a very, let's say, a niche course, which is Masters in Automotive Management. And after that, I finished last 2020, 21. I finished my studies. After that, I've been working as a business consultant in Germany. And yeah, that's about me.
Over to you, Sally.
Okay, so students, you can also ask
question if you want to know, and if you want to know the journey that they have been going through, you can ask. You can drop your question in chat as well, and yeah, you can unmute yourself as well. So we have also a few questions from our students who wants to, who wants to pursue here at GMP program. So I'll just read it out for you. I guess Dipali ma'am.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I have shared the question with you. Do you want me to provide the questions?
That's okay. So the first question, which is the most confusing for all of them, is how to decide whether to study in India or to go abroad, and then how to shortlist the schools. So can I request the alumni to share how they went, what framework they had? So I'll start with Zeal, because Zeal and Jason are the recent students, and then we can go higher in the order. If they miss out anything, Namitha and Prateek can join in. So Zeal, will you please help them with that? How to like decide Indian B school or go abroad, and then abroad how to shortlist the school?
Sure, ma'am. So I'll share my 2 cents, and again, a disclaimer that it's a very personal opinion. So, firstly, I think when you're deciding a B school in India or abroad, you have to realize that you're setting your trajectory in that direction. So, if you pick an Indian B school, you can expect the next 20 years of life over here, and if you select a B school abroad, you can expect to have a longer career there. And both the lives are going to be very different in terms of work-life balance, in terms of the ROI, and in terms of if you're back home in India, you have a different kind of support system around you, which abroad you're kind of more independent. So the first part of the question is, Sari, could you please mute yourself? Yeah, thanks. So yeah, so basically, whether to go abroad or do it here, I would say is an extremely personal choice. For me, I chose to come to Germany because I was kind of burnt out by working in India, and I was aware that Europe offers you a good work-life balance. So that was a key selling point for me. And another was also that I wanted to gain an exposure to the financial industries abroad, and Frankfurt being kind of the hub for finance in Europe, Germany was a good choice for me, and which is why I've come here. And the second part of the question, ma'am, was,
if you're looking at deciding a school abroad, what should be the framework? And I'll also just like to add that though Zeal had some work experience, she's still gone for an MS in finance. So that's a very, very personal choice again she's made. So if you can just share the framework you used to, how you used, or what was your framework to decide the school?
right. So firstly, you look at the credibility of the college you're going to. You look at if you're going to be learning something. And then secondly, so I basically looked at the history that EBS had. Was it well recognized in Germany? Did the employers, have a good acceptance for the students coming out of EBS? And then I just did a basic review of all the professors' profile. And they all seem like, having sufficient teaching experience, and they all seem like masters in their field. So it ticked the college quality box for me. And then secondly, of course, you're going to look at money, right? So money was, the ROI was important. I looked at how my return on investment is going to be once I graduate, and in that too, it worked well, because overall Europe is cheaper for education, and even more so with GMP, you get a 50% scholarship for every college you apply through them. So it even became a way better option for going through that. So yes, I think these were like very fundamental requirements I had, which were satisfied. So.
Jason, you'd like to add something to it?
Yeah, so most of the points, I also went to the same checklists that Zeal just mentioned, but other than that, it was a moment of uncertainty, our batch. It was just after COVID, and you did not know how the hiring from the companies is going to be. Is it worth spending almost 30-40 lakhs on an MBA right now? So there were a lot of uncertain questions about it. I had offer from Great Lakes, before I had an offer from Great Lakes Chennai, and that was also a 1 year MBA, and it was like and then I received the offer from GMP, and so if you see from a very ROI point of view, Great Lakes was the fees around that was almost around 20-21 lakhs, and if you take GMP, it's almost on par with that, maybe a little bit expensive because you're going to stay here in Europe for 6 months, but it was well worth it because you get the international exposure. And uh, the main point was, as I said, the best of both worlds. I'm not planning to stay in Europe for a very long time. I just want to work for 2-3 years, gain some valuable international experience, and I want to come back to India. So in that way, when you're back in India, you have the alumni network of SPJIMR, and it helps you with the context as well. So that was my main motivation. And as far as the choice of partner school is concerned, uh, I, I want the course that I've chosen is a very general one. It's in international MBA in general management. So I had no specific finance or automotive. I just went by the FT rankings, and I just found that ESEG was pretty high up, and it had a triple accredited. That was one of my criteria. What I felt that if you're going to do an MBA, it's better if you do in a triple accredited B school, because to be frank, in Europe it does not matter a lot, but there are some American companies that do give importance to accreditation. So might as well to do in a triple accredited course. So that was one of the main motivation. And Paris, my college is in La Défense, which is like the Wall Street of Europe. So that was definitely a huge factor in deciding upon it. And that's it. That's it. That's it about it.
Namitha, you'd like to add something?
I think both of them have covered points. Maybe everyone else can. Yeah, great. So I think they covered most of the point, but I want to add that, yeah, if when you're deciding whether to join a course in India or abroad, main factor is if you want to go back to India. GMP is a course where they will nurture you to study it abroad, and if you want to go back directly after 1 year, I think it would be not a good choice for you. And additionally, the quality of the college is really important. Quality of the brand also important. Partner school also important. But more than that, here your skill set is also mattered. At the end of the day, you will get a job according to the skill set that you have. I'm not sure. It's also a personal opinion, I guess. But this what my experience is. Nyenrode is one of the top B schools in Netherlands, but there are also other B schools that are also really good, but they won't actually in Netherlands. They won't give you a job. Depending on which B school you are at. It always depends on how much skill set you got. So that's what something I want to add to. Maybe Prateek
Yes.
can say a little bit more. I think he might know better.
No. All three combined finished all the points. Now I have nothing. Anyway, just to add few more points, or let's say I will summarize everything, or I'll try to summarize everything. One is India versus abroad. First, you need to decide why are you doing a MBA. Either you can go into a general management or you can go into specialization. So that is two factors. And once you decide on that, okay, if I want to go into specialization, then there are not many universities in India which offers you a specialization. The SPJIMR earned its fame because of it, because its curriculum is so strong across all the courses. It's not only one course, and the course structure is so strong, and it's so focused on very specific niche areas, or not even niche, in areas that, and it's one of the very few universities in India which offers you that. So that's one point. Once you decide over the course, for example, I decided like I want to stay in automotive domain. I'm not switching over. Then the Germany becomes obvious choice for me because it's a mecca. You can go to US, you can come to, you can go to South Korea. You have Japan as an option. You have Germany as an option, and China too, actually. So these are the 5 automotive regions, and then you have to decide like, okay, where the stuff is happening which you enjoy. Like I'm just telling you my story. You can build your story on based of that. So okay, these are the pros and cons. Like US can be very expensive, and Detroit is dead, we call it. On Japan and South Korea, there's a cultural conflicts. Even with China, there's a cultural conflict. Like the language becomes way too big of a barrier compared to Europe. So that is out. And then you're left with Germany, and Germany is having some of the biggest automotive names in the industry. So that's how I narrowed down to Germany. So that is India versus abroad. Like you think in this one particular framework, why you're doing MBA, and if you're going for your masters, like whether you're going for a very niche specific course, then choose accordingly. And if you're going for a general course, then choose accordingly. Once you are done with that, then the question of ROI comes, then the question of economy comes, then the question of like sector comes, like where the things are happening. So we call it like being Europe, be it US, they are the profit centers of the world, and India being a cost center of the world. And there's nothing wrong in both; they are just different. So the optimization is happening in India, where I'm just giving an example, but where the new stuff is happening, where the people actually the industries make actual profits, that is happening in Europe or the Western world. And obviously you want to be there because few of the topics I'm working on currently, they will come in Europe in 24. So what, how you want to learn, like where, how far you want to go, that also becomes a topic. And now once you have decided that, okay, I want to do this specialization, these are the economies, these are the sectors which are booming in these part of world, and it can be India. Like if you want to be in for example, IT service industry, like India is a choice, but you have to decide that. Once you're done with that, then comes like how to choose a college. And I'm not saying be it India or be it abroad, again I'm not differentiating in that. So choosing a college slash university, it always focus on the course structure. What are the subjects being taught, who are teaching them, what kind of paper researches have been done, what is the what faculties have done in the past, what kind of industry academy, like industry academy interaction is happening. Again, it's very less in India actually even now. Again, SPJIMR is one of the front leading universities in that sense also. The industry academia interaction is somewhat lacking in Indian education system even now. Whereas Europe, we had courses, we had projects directly working with the companies on a real-time project, and they were like, okay, we have 5 million euros, we want to enter into this domain, give us few solutions. And we would work as students for 6 months coming up with some solution, and if they like it, they would actually include it. So that kind of exposure you need to get. So yeah, so these are the points. I think that's how you should, like, according to me, you should decide whether India versus abroad and which course to take. So this is how I look at it. And yeah,
Can I add a point to this? So
please.
while we are here in SP, that time you would actually be taught the language as well. So
Yeah.
you do A2 level of the language, whichever country you're going to be, Germany, France, or Netherlands. So this helps you to know the basic language. So if a foreigner comes to India and speaks even a single line in Hindi, we feel really good about it, right? And then we go all the way to help that person or to uh, be accommodative. So that also I think would have helped. So if you want to share your experience, Prateek, because you've been the longest in Europe right now.
Among this batch, among these people, but I feel really old now. So coming about that, like I'll sidetrack a bit. One more strong point of this GMP course is when you come to, if you go to any country, if you go to any new region, it's a cultural shock for everyone. It's a social shock for everyone. And when you are in GMP, you had a certain cushioning. One, you study the language. Two, you have some subjects called intercultural management. You have some interactions with faculties and the students in the past. So you kind of have a baseline. And third is you come with a batch. And that dampens the shock you get, because at least you have some people who are going to the same level and you know them from before. So emotionally or socially that becomes a questioning for you, and people don't realize that, but once they come here you realize like how important that factor can become, because it's a big cultural shock. So GMP, if you see in a hindsight, it's not by design, but it happened, I think, that it is a very strong point, because I've seen many students personally who came directly, and there were very few, I'm not saying many, but there are very few students, but they went back. They came directly, they couldn't take the cultural shock. Few of the students went back, and not from SP, from outside. But students from SP, it was much more easier for them, and they found internship means opportunities much faster, because that one aspect of your life is gone. It is being handled, let's say that. So you can put this extra energy into finding opportunities, finding what to do in next steps, and then you have alumni network, then you have your seniors. You can always reach out to them, they're always helpful. Even for me, Vali ma'am knows, like I, I I had my first internship in 7 days in landing in Germany. Like 16th of Jan, I landed here, and 21st of Jan, I had my first interview. All thanks to seniors, right? So that's one very strong point. And then the cycle goes on. So I think GMP is very special in that sense. Like when you're considering, like once you have decided to go abroad, consider this factor of cultural shock, because uh, like more than studies, it's a mental game. So you, for example, and I always say to people, like if you have always studied, like if you have always stayed at your home, in your home, you have all like studied in the same cities, studied in the same city, college in the same city, and then you worked in the same area, get out, even within India, maybe move. If you're from south, move to north. If you're from north, move to south. Stay for 1 year, stay alone, and then start thinking of, because it can take a toll on you. And GMP is a really good, let's say, intermediate platform for that. Like it really questions that. So yeah, that's what I think about it.
So Prateek, like you said, you got an internship in 1 week through your seniors. You have
Yeah.
also been, instrumental in helping a lot of your juniors. So can you a little bit talk about?
So it's just passing the favor kind of concept, right? So just a brief background. So I'm an automotive guy, and then there were few seniors in our batch who were automotive guys who were already in Europe, and then they contacted the Pali ma'am and like, okay, we need few automotive guys, and there are internships coming up. Uh, so I applied, I got in touch with them. You have to learn how to apply here. You have to learn how to make CV here. You have to learn how to make cover letters here. And remember, there is no placement concept outside India. It's all your skills. Nobody is going to ask you which college you have studied in. Nobody is going to ask you what kind of tags you're bringing in. Everybody is going to ask you, what do you know? And that you have to change your mentality accordingly, because in India, we are biased towards tax. There is a certain affiliation towards the names you carry in your CV. Here, it doesn't matter. So seniors helped me with that. And once I was in the industry, once I was there, then I just passed on the favor, like, because then the same happened where I came in a position of a senior, and then there were more juniors coming in. So, and this happened during COVID. Like the COVID batch struggled the most, I guess, among all, because they just came here and everything, the whole economy shut down. And if there was a hiring freeze in Europe, like you cannot fire anyone, you cannot hire anyone, like where would they go? So then the alumni network came into picture. Not only me, many students. Then we helped the upcoming students finding some internships. I got like 4 students in my company, in my team. I got 3 people in. And that happened because once you start, like, and my seniors were there in that company in Bosch. So there is a sense of trust among this GMP and the hiring manager, because they know, okay, the quality of the people coming in is always above average. So they are also very comfortable when we say go and talk to them. And this all happened internally. It was not like the position was released and then they applied and then I spoke. No, I was like, okay, managers come to you, it's like, hey, we need so and so skills, can you recommend? And then we go back to the juniors, it's like, hey, we need so and so skills, do you know someone? And then they come forward, okay, I know these things, I do not know these things, and then we try to find a balance among all. So that's how the 3 students come into play. And then in my current company, uh, there are 2 people, one joined in this March, and one is joining in June. So then again, the senior or the network comes into play. But here I will like to add one point. It's not that I went and did so. It's about they coming and finding out their network. Like in Europe, I'll just take this time. In Europe, networking helps you a lot because we see majority of the opportunities are never released in Europe. They are always internally done. And here some referencing is taken very seriously, and it's given a priority. So because if a person who is coming with a reference, if he is not performing up to the mark, even you will feel the heat of it. So the referencing is not done very casually here also. That's also one thing. So once you network, once you learn to network, and Europe makes you to learn that, like the situation is such that like you have to, otherwise you can't proceed in your career. So once you do that, like alumni GMP alumni network is always there to help. And believe me, our seniors are doing some incredible jobs here. And like, be it knowledge, be it like not even jobs or something, if you are having a problem with some subject, if you're not understanding a topic, you want to know about so and so, you can always reach out to them and somebody will come forward and help you out, always. Yeah.
Namitha, you also just finished your internship. Would you like to add something to what Prateek just said?
Yeah, sure. I think Prateek has covered almost everything that I want to say. Yeah, here GMP network is so strong, especially I can speak from Nyenrode's perspective. The Nyenrodian, we always get together one day a year, and everyone is so helpful. And while I was doing my internship as well, they were like, if you want any help to find a job, just ping us, we will be there. And even the interview process that's going on, I think 2 of them I had reference. So it really helped me a lot during the interview process as well. Even when we came here for the first time, we actually didn't know how the CV works. So I sent my CV to some of our seniors and they helped me out a lot. I think they also had a part in my getting an internship over here. And one thing I realized over here is getting an internship, it's actually kind of like a job somehow. Back in India, internship is considered to be a part of your studies, but here you will actually learn a lot. Like they just gave you a lot of work, lot of responsibilities. Thus your growth will also, like personally and professionally, your growth will be so amazing. After 7 months, I can see that I have learned a lot. And even in the interview, when I answer the questions, I can see that, oh yeah, I have learned a lot. It's like that. And GMP and Nyenrodian alumni is so strong, and they have helped me a lot in this process. So yeah, I think that's it. Thank you.
I'd like to add one point, sorry to interrupt, because uh, this is really strong point. Like when we think of internships, especially when we are in India, we are thinking of doing like 2 months internship, free internship, and doing some very basic job. Here it's not like that. You're paying taxes on your salaries even as an intern. So your scale is good. They are considering you as a full-time employee legally. So they are trying, as a company, they are trying to get max out of you because they are considering you as an asset. So you are not going to do some data entry job sitting in the company. They'll throw you in the deep end, and it's like a simulated environment. They'll put you in a real-time problem. They'll give you a real-time issue, and you have to solve it based on your skills. Obviously they'll support you, but the amount of learning you have is exponential. And also, the one good thing about when the internship happens is most of the time the every time the company knows that you're doing an internship. So there's a continuous feedback loop happening over that time. And like for me, like I would say, okay, this is new in automotive industry. I do not know about it. I want to learn about it. And within a week, I'm given a project there. I was like, yeah, there's a problem happening there. They want to release so and so product. Um, let's build a strategy around it. Let's talk to different parts of the world, and then like the kind of independence you're given, and so don't think internship as a data entry student sitting at one desk and doing everything. No, 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 no. You are a asset to the company, and then they're trying to get everything out of you, and it's a vice versa. So that's one thing I would like to clear.
Yeah, I just want to add one thing to what Prateek said. So the story is just about landing your first internship. After you land it, I think it's half the battle won, because there's a high chance that you're either going to convert that into a full-time offer, or once you have the name of a European company on your CV, saying that you've interned over there, you become more acceptable and viable to other companies. So, it's just like starting is difficult, but then it's like really hard hitting and very quick for you to go through the other steps. So that is also one thing.
Jason, you'd like to add anything?
Yeah, I think everything is pretty much covered. I just recently received an internship offer from a US startup, and I'm actually trying to look for jobs in marketing, especially digital marketing, and I had zero work experience in digital marketing. And one thing I'd like to mention is the work I did for SPJIMR GMP social media handles, and also Devrat sir helped me get an internship during my time at GMP. So I worked as a digital marketing consultant for one of a small vegan startups. So these two things really helped me boost my CV. And just a quick advice that if you're trying to, switch your fields, like in my case, I moved on from IT to marketing, or you do not have any work experience, it's always better to do some kind of internship during your 6 months at SPJ. And I know it's already a very packed schedule there, but I I I I remember I used to hardly sleep for 5 hours, but those 3 4 months, with the internship and all, they really helped me get offers during my job search right now, and that's also primary reason why I was able to land an internship very quickly. So yeah, that's it.
I would also like to share mine. So in 2019, I was there in EBS campus, and somebody had an interview with Red Bus, Preeti. You won't believe the seniors not only helped her with the CV or whatever, they sat and did because it was a Zoom interview that time, it wasn't as common as it's today. They actually did an interview with her, and they made sure where she was sitting, the sound was perfect, the light was perfect, the posture was perfect. So this kind of the support system, I doubt you'll get it anywhere else. And I would really like to ask you guys, the alumni, to please share, if you whatever difficulties you face, because let's not make it sound like a cakewalk, because it's not. I know GMP is very, very difficult. The studies here at SP, the 6 months here, and then adjusting and whatever. So please give them a very, very realistic picture, because it makes sense that, if they're wanting to join the program, they know that it's not going to be easy, but it's going to be worth it. So if you can throw some light on that as well.
The course is very demanding. The 6 months that you'll be spending here with SPJN are very demanding, because it'll give you all the basics from all the different fields, be it operations, production, marketing, finance, everything. I think you'll do some 27 courses in a span of 6 months, I guess. And on top of that, you'll have assignments, you'll have interim exams, usually which I submit late, and I have to ask permission from Zeal ma'am just to extend. So yeah, you'll have a very tough time. And what it'll do is, when you go through such a rigorous schedule, your time here, it'll almost feel like a vacation when you're here for the second semester, because especially in France, people are very chill. They have this work-life balance culture, and they don't like to work on weekends. So I just have classes from Monday to Thursdays, and once you go through that rigorous first semester, it'll be easier here. And please do take your language classes seriously, especially if you're coming to Paris. Although it's one of the top business hubs in the world, people do still love their French and croissants. So please, it would be really nice for you to learn some of the French etiquettes and language. I I I, I mean, even I've been to Berlin and Netherlands. People do at least speak a lot of English there, but in France, it's a bit too. People are very proud of the language, and it would be really nice. Even if you don't do that well in your subjects, it's fine. If you just know the language, that will really help you land a job in Paris for sure. Because most of the jobs, they require almost a B1 level of French or B2 level of French for communication. Yeah.
And I think, yeah, Jason just opened an important topic with the language thing. It's very similar in Germany as well, that you've got to know the language and it just makes you fit in more. And you just need to demonstrate that you're willing to learn and you're willing to be a part of the culture. So people are going to help you more. And your day to day is just simplified, like just from talking in a grocery store to yeah, and just spending your day. It's just easier if you know the language. And secondly, another difficult point for me right now is that I'm kind of in a transitive phase, that it's been a couple of months since I'm here, and the people around me who the next batch has started getting internships and they're all settled, and I'm also settled now, but I have no internships. So I'm starting to feel the jitters, and that safety net of the campus placement and all that is missing. But also the silver lining, or what I can be assured of, is that if I work on my profile and my CV, I will get where I want to. So like the Pali ma'am asked us to mention like the low points of it, I think this is one of the lows where, you just have to hold on and make sure that you just have to be extremely patient with yourself, and trust the process that you will get there. It's just that we don't have this tangible concept of campus placements here, which makes it sound like it's all up in the air, but it's actually not. It's just that we're used to having everything laid out for us. But the fruits are actually sweeter when we land an internship and we're actually up and about our business. I want to have the audacity to say that we end up doing better than our counterparts in India. So it's definitely all worth it. And yeah, it's just about trusting the process.
So I will add here, Germany, continuing Germany. So she has put a really good point. So when I spoke about cultural shock, so this language barrier becomes a big issue. Be it Germany, be it Netherlands. I think Netherlands is still comfortably good with English, but Germany and France becomes a huge issue. So learning basic language is very important, not only because you need it for job, like it for your day-to-day fit in, you need it, right? You need to go to shop, you need to go to talk to people, you need to buy tickets, you need to do many sort of things. And Germany being a amazingly bureaucratic country, the amount of papers you receive in German are like sometimes they are mind-boggling. Like why? So that becomes a big thing here. So that's a big challenge for sure. Do not leave your, I can see that. Do not miss your German classes. And it is coming from a guy who was a backbencher even in SP. Diwali ma'am knows about it, but still, you have to make up for it. Like if you miss this at start, if you ignore it in the start, at the end you have to work for it. So that's one thing. Second point, I've already spoken about culture shock. Like it becomes a big deal. Like winters are longer here. Few people are not very comfortable with that. Here, the individualistic nature of a society is much more stronger. India is a very collective society. So sometimes many people feel really alone. especially if you can't have a good interaction with people, if you struggle with that, so you have to come out of your shell. Then third point, professionally, as she said, there's no concept of placement over here. It's all based on your skills, and there are very few people who hit it in the spot in the first go. It's very, very, very common to receive 100 plus minus 20 rejections before you get your first shot. It's very common. It's not only like a native German will receive somewhere around 15 rejections. As an international student, I'll receive somewhere around 100 rejections, and it's so common, even with the alumni help, because it can take you so far, right? And then it all depends on your skill, and you need to have courage, you need to have patience to get up every day, see 3 or 4 rejections, and just go through that rejections and like, okay, what next? Like, how can I improve? Okay, let me twist this. I think this word is wrong. I think I need to learn the skill. And then you keep on polishing yourself. And then one fine day you are getting rewarded. And as she said, like, it's way too sweet. Like when you get it, you know you deserve it. You not you do not have a question mark in that. Like there comes a point where you are like, even if you are going, even before, like there comes a point, to be very frank, when you're applying for a job and when you get a call, you know you are getting it, because you are like, I have worked so hard, there is nothing which can stop me now. And then that self-confidence comes after months and months of getting rejection. So but you need to have that patience, right? You need to have that courage to keep your head down and keep working on it. You have to plow it through. And coming from India, where the concept of placements are there, where there's this lot of questioning is provided to us in many aspects of our life, coming from there to here, it can become a challenge. So that's one third challenge, I would say, even professionally. So language, culture shock, having patience, even professionally, that is also a big deal. So yeah, but remember, like, again, once you get through it, as Zeal said, like I have a lot of counterparts back in India, and many are from premier institutes. I can see the difference after 2 years or 3 years of our education, because they had that question and now they are struggling in their work. And for me, that is like, I'm not like, it's a challenging work, but I'm like, I look forward to that challenge. It's not depressing me, it's not stressing me out, even though it's a challenging job. But it can become there because there was this certain question, and now once you are in job, that question is removed, right? Then it's all you. So but if you have polished yourself enough, then it's like, huh, it's a cakewalk. It's fine. And yeah,
Can
and
I ask you
as
one thing?
yeah, ma'am, please.
So you say that your counterparts, you see that now they are struggling and you are kind of in a comfortable position. And what about monetary benefits? I mean, do you see you're at a better
Oh
position here as
yeah.
well?
See, monetary benefits always there. Like even if you consider triple B ratio, we are like, if even if you consider like Stuttgart to Bangalore, the triple B ratio is somewhere around 2.1. So even if you consider a triple B ratio, we are faring better than many premier B schools. Like the according to the placement reports like comes every year, we are doing much better and we are doing much more interesting jobs. The thing is, like, the work satisfaction is much higher there. The work life balance is much stronger here, much stronger here. Means I would say, even though I love my job back in India, but 14 hours every day, and that too in a production, it can take a toll on you, and it did. So that's another thing. So your work is interesting, so look forward. Monetary, you get good number at the end of the month, you're happy with that, and then you get to work with so many people. Like that's another, like, it's an abstract benefit. Like my last team, there were 11 people from 9 countries. Currently I am interacting with 5 countries. Before that, I was interacting with 8 countries people. Like my manager used to have, and he was French, so my manager was French, and we would start having calls in the morning, like, we would say we will do a world tour. We starting from Japan, Korea, China, France, Sweden, Canada, US, and then coming to Germany. Like we'll have that calls whole day, because of the time zones. And you can't get that kind of opportunity in India at such a young age, like professional age. And they believe in you. And that all comes because you have to keep your head down and blow through it. Like if you think, oh, this is not like that challenge makes you stronger. But it's really challenging. Like initially it can get really challenging. And that's where again GMP comes you. That's why I was saying that cushion is very important and which GMP provides you. So yeah, I think these are the 3-4 challenges I can think of. It's not an easy road, believe me, but it's worth it.
And also one final thing, um, yeah, like just having said all this, that there are no campus placements and all that here, I also want to say that there is a career placement, there's a career supports a cell with every college that you'll go to. The college is immensely helpful and the professors are very helpful. They help in crafting your CV, they help in polishing your points. And there are these coaching sessions we have every month with the college where we have one-on-one 30-minute sessions where they're reviewing our profile and they give us points, how we can improve our presentation. So, just the concept of a proper campus placement is missing, but all the support system that you need around it is very much there. So it's not like you're on your own. You have all the resources at your disposal. You have your seniors, and there are plenty of points you can go to ask for help. It's just that it has to be a self-driven process.
Maybe I will talk a bit about.
So I'd like
Netherlands,
to love his job even more because you French have 2 hours of lunch break. So it's a immense work-life balance. So somebody had posted a question which was about CTC, which Prateek has already covered. Then there's a question that due to the Russian the war going on, has there been a major impact on your day-to-day lives or the openings in Europe as such right now?
I'm just out of sunflower oil, that's all. Everything
Yes.
else is okay.
Yes. Can't find sunflower oil.
I moved to
That is the only impact.
like day-to-day life, you do not have impact. Like professionally, the opportunities have not gone down till now. The market is flourished because they are still making up the gap they had during COVID. So there was, like, for Germany, I can speak, there was a hiring freeze for 1.5 years. So there was like Kurzarbeit concept, and then government stormed in, like, you can work only 60% of the time and you cannot fire anyone and we'll pay the salaries. But then the company said, the industry said, we are not going to hire anyone. But that built up a gap, right? And then the companies are still, so the market is, like, at least for automotive, they're flourished, they're flooded with job opportunities even now. So that's one thing. I don't see it going away really soon unless you are in a hardware industry, because even for automotive, companies have again gone back to 4 days of working because there's a supply chain issue. But in personal life, there is no issue. There are very, very, very few industries which are impacted by that. And I don't think those industries we should be worried about. So that's all. And then sunflower oil, come on. Like, I'm using Repsol, and which is amazingly, I don't know. I'm yet to decide whether I like it or not.
Savi, do you have any other questions?
Yes, ma'am. There is one question. Harsh. Hi, I have finance background and say to pursue MS Finance. Wanted to know about the college experience in Nyenrode and EBS, and what are the language barriers one can face in Netherlands and Germany. So this question is from one of the student, Harsh.
I can speak on behalf of EBS. Yeah, that so Germany, and especially more so EBS, is a fantastic place to pursue finance because of its proximity to Frankfurt, and Frankfurt has all the banks, you name it, and even I think most multinationals, they are in Frankfurt. So because of that, you are more viable a candidate to apply for internships or in terms of visibility. And also EBS has a very good tie-up and existing alumni with these companies already. So if you take care of your networking, you will also have an easy into these colleges. And in terms of the pedagogy and the teaching quality, I am more than satisfied. Like, and even my classmates, right? Like, I have like Germans, people from Arabia, people from South Africa. Like, it's a very diverse batch because it's a master's batch and not an MBA batch. And the quality of discussions we have in class is amazing. And this is what I was like really craving for a long time. And it's just like, the to and fro with the professor is another thing, but the interaction with peers, and like the classroom ends up being just an open discussion about what the headline in the Financial Express was, which to me is super interesting. And I love the pedagogy, and I love the opportunities that EBS is making available for me because of its sheer network. So that is for EBS. And of course, like what you study with in MSc Finance, I'm also a CFA level 2 candidate. So, there is also a good overlap between the two. So if you're thinking about pursuing, a specialization in finance as well, MSc Finance is going to help you because of, a good overlap in the content. So yeah, it's a good choice.
Speaking about Nyenrode, I'm doing global business, but I know my friends who are doing finance, so maybe I can give you a little heads up. So Nyenrode has 3 courses, one in global business, finance, and digital. And finance is the flagship course of Nyenrode. And compared to other 2, finance is a little bit rigorous, the course as such. They have more exams, and the pedagogy, I think I had a professor who teach finance, and he was really amazing. And the way he taught finance, even I'm not a core finance girl, so but still I could understand everything. So it was also amazing. And regarding the placements and job opportunity, I think most of my finance friends are already placed or are in the final stage of getting a job. So that's also been said. And in Netherlands, we don't have much problem with language barrier because most of the people speak English. But if you want to get inside the circle, you have to know language. So most of the cohort chats are in Dutch, and especially in Nyenrode, we all of us live inside the campus. So because of that, most of our friends are Dutch, and somehow although they speak English, somehow they prefer Dutch. So if you really want to get into the circle, I would say that, yeah, language is a thing. Though there is a stereotype that, yeah, it's Netherlands, everyone speak English. I also had that. So in the language class, I was like, everyone speak English, so we don't have to speak, we don't have to be like fluent in Dutch. It's okay. And when we came here, everything was in Dutch. So I was like, oh no, we should have given more importance to the language. So that's been said. I think I covered both the questions. Yeah.
There's a question about difference between MBA and MS on the chat. I think I could answer this for you. So MBA in India, when you say you're doing a special, like MBA HR or MBA in finance or something, that actually if you see under the FT rankings, it comes under MS category, not MBA. So for MBA, it's like you've worked in a particular domain for a few years, and now you're looking at improvising your skills and becoming a manager. And that's when you get into doing a general management kind of a course. Having said that, people right now are kind of going more for MS because it's kind of like how it says it's a master in management, so finance or whatever. We've seen that in the past few years, our partner schools have broken down probably say marketing to a digital marketing and to a sustainability kind of a course. So emphasis is more on MS. And please correct me if I'm wrong, in most of your schools, people who are doing MBA are with more than 8 years of experience. So the GMP lot is kind of the youngest to people who are going with 3 to 5 years of experience. I've put down my number. I'll put it on the chat. If you have any specific questions, please feel free to get in touch with me. Sabi is always there to help you out. You can connect with her and get back to me. But any generic questions, I'll be able to answer those for you. prior work experience, how Jason just mentioned that he wanted to change his domain and he worked on it from the very beginning when he was here at SP. He wanted to get into the marketing, and believe me, some of the most amazing videos and posts were done by him. So that helped him, and he's now getting into an internship. So prior work experience does help. But if you're looking at changing your domain, you can always do that. You know, you're tired of doing a particular thing. That's the reason you're looking at, enhancing your skills and looking at some change. So the direction would be that if you're like, say, an IT guy wanting to get into marketing, please start building your CV from today. Like, do some courses on, there are a lot of platforms available where you can do certifications free of cost or with very, very minimum cost. Start doing that, start taking some projects which are probably unpaid, take an unpaid internship if required, and build your CV. So tomorrow when you go for an interview and you say, hey, I'm an IT guy wanting to get into marketing, and they ask you, how do you justify? You have those things in front of you. You say, I've been working on it, and here are these few things. So it's ultimately how each one of them has emphasized it's about you. It's not about the school, it's not about anybody else. It's about you as a person. So you have to make your choice. And I would say when you're writing your SOP, for the school, why you want to do what you want to do. If you're filling the form, please don't submit your form within 10 minutes. When we read your SOP, we can actually figure out you've given it 1 hour, 1 day, or a week. So please write, rewrite. It'll give you a lot of clarity. I'm sure all of you would agree with me who's done this.
Yeah, actually,
100%.
Sorry, Prateek, you were saying something. Okay, I just want to emphasize that here people take motivation letter really very, very seriously. Initially, while I was doing searching for my internship, I got a rejection a lot. And after we can see that after changing your motivation letter bit here and there, you started getting the calls. So here, for everything, motivation letter is really important. So I would say if you're applying for internship or even for GMP, you think about it. Yeah, thank you. Prateek, please go ahead.
I was just saying, I 100% agree. And also just understand, when you talk about to have an experience, just see it in a relative terms. It's not an absolute thing. Like, experience in what you want to study. Like, as he said, he moved from IT to marketing. That means he has zero experience. Means I'm not being harsh, that's a fact. Like, if I want to go tomorrow to pharma, I have zero experience. My last experience doesn't count. And then you need to justify why. Like, he did an internship, he did some courses, and then you start showing, because the company would ask, why would you change your domain? And what is the motivation? And then you can say, hey, I'm motivated enough to go on my one leg and just, I've done these courses, I've done these internships, I've done these some projects on a personal capacity. Then the company is like, okay, he has certain motivation, he has put in hard work, let's try him out. And that's how you get an opportunity, right? So see, when you talk about, and also one more thing, if you're seeing experience in an absolute term, even though I came in with some experience, I've seen freshers doing better than me, few of the experienced people. So that's also there, because you are fresh, you are adaptable to everything, so you are able to explore everything. So that's also one good point if you're seeing experience in an absolute term. So that's thing. Yeah.
So there is one question for you. There is question that I would like to know about few tips from our alumni about the interview experience. So Zeal can also take into this.
So my interview experience was twofold. So firstly, I fill up an essay. After that, the college decides that they like me. Then the first round I have with the GMP. I have I had so 2 GMP professors interviewed me, and after I went through that, I was interviewed by an EBS professor. So you go through, I'm sorry, are we talking about the college interviews or the work experience?
Talk about both. First, getting through the college and then getting a job.
Okay, yeah. So for GMP, it is the story that you, so there are 2 rounds of interviews. One is with the GMP college and the other is with the EBS college. The GMP was more generic and they test your, we were given a case study and they tested general adaptability and teachability. And the EBS one is definitely then it as per your specialization. For me, they asked me some finance questions and I was asked to justify my work experience to the role I was, to the, why I'm going for finance. So yeah, that is like about it in a nutshell, but both of them were seemingly doable if you prep for it. Of course, I prepped for them. And if you just go through the basic checklist of interviews that are widely available on the internet, you'll be more than comfortable on the day. So that's nothing to worry about.
Jason, would you like to add on this?
So yeah, the GMP interview was similar to this. I was asked a lot of questions about my previous work. So if you have a work experience, like prepare, well, like what you did for the company, and also, get some details about the company that you worked in. And the ESSEC interview, it's more about storytelling for me. They just wanted to know the motivation behind choosing MBA first and then France in particular. So if you're choosing Germany, France, or Netherlands, or any other B school, I think we have with Aston also, if I'm not wrong, from this year. So whatever you choose, you need to have a motivation behind choosing that. So they'd really like to see that. So when I told why I chose France, and yeah, you need to give a solid reason, apart from just the beauty of Paris. You need to give some solid reasons for that. And if that's you have that worked out, I think it should be a easy interview. That's it.
So students, you can also ask, more questions. I guess it's your golden chance. So you can unmute yourself and you can ask, or you can also drop your question through the chat as well. So anyone?
Savi, there was a question about Aston. I'll take this opportunity to answer this, and by the time students can be ready with the next question. So this is the first year that we are going ahead with Aston. The motivation was that it's an English-speaking nation, so it would be easier. And we've been working for that partnership for quite some time. So we're really happy it finally happened. There are 2 tracks available. One is called articulation, where you study in UK for 9 months, and against that you can stay back there to look for a job for 6 months. The other option is to go for a course which you will be studying for 12 months. This is called progression, and against that you get 2 years to stay back to look for a job. So if you ask me personally, I feel putting in 3 months more extra and going makes much more sense. The visa rules require you to complete 12 months of studies in UK. So that's the reason the time for some students would feel that it's 6 months here and 12 months there. It's kind of more compared to what you would have done directly. So the benefits of GMP come into the picture then. You would be getting certain course credit transfers, and against that some fee reduction is going to be there. But overall, because it's a partnership between 2 schools, these are very small and hidden benefits, which I would say, language is not a barrier. Still, it's a foreign country and you do need some kind of support system. So when you're here at GMP, you're studying 6 months with your peers, and when you go to the place, you share your room and you have people. I think during COVID, people realize how important it was to have your own network. When you're sick and you manage to get that dhar ki dal chawal or khichdi, it really helps you. So the network that you build here is going to be very important. And then, of course, the alumni base of Aston and GMP is there. So if there are any specific questions, you can always get in touch with me. I've put in the brochure there. The details are there. You can log on to the website. Any social media handle of GMP, our numbers are given. Right now, I think it's better if you ask the alumni the question, because I'm going to be available. I'm just a phone call away. So whatever questions you have for these guys makes sense.
Just to add on to the Aston, so if you look at the Aston, it's in a smaller city, Birmingham. So it is not as expensive as London, as well as the courses and the university. I've been to that university. It's a very fabulous university campus. Also, a lot of Indian origin student and professors. So you will not feel very far away from India, as well as the English language with Deepali talk. Over to Deepali.
So Gautam has asked whether there's a difficulty in getting visas. We have never faced any issue as of now. Only during COVID year, some of the students' visas got delayed, but everybody's there. Our Europe and US batch both are in the countries where they're supposed to be, and the classes are right now going on campus. And if there is any issue, mostly, I mean, some students, if the first one goes for an interview, whatever questions they are asked or documentation is missing, they kind of, pass on the information, and that helps the next lot to improvise. So we do have session with the program of international office of the college where you're going to join, as well as the alumni to help you out with this. So they'll guide you through that, and we've till now not had any problem of visas. Somebody's asking when it comes to finance, what should I be the preference, EBS or Nyenrode? So this question is from Anirudh. Anirudh, I think this would be your choice. Zeal kind of gave you a framework. So the best way to decide is the structure of the course, what they are going to teach you. You could go through that. It's given on the website of the school. Next would be the time duration and finance. And then third thing would be the alumni. So, I mean, we can only guide you. Ultimately, it should be your decision.
Just like a quick tip for Anirudh, this is something I do a lot. Just go on LinkedIn, filter the college and filter the roles you kind of want to be in. So do that for both the universities, and you'll kind of get a flavor of what the respective graduates are working in. So, this is something you can pick for yourself.
Savi, have we missed out any other question that you noted on the chat?
Yes, ma'am, I can see here one more question. What are the questions for second round of interview for Nyenrode University? This is for you, Namitha.
Thank you. I will take that. Like most of us said, it's all about what you want to do. Comparing to other Indian universities, the interview was so chill. It was like having a conversation. Even the internship interview, everything is like having a conversation. They just want to know if you are best for the university. They just want to know are you motivated enough to join this course? Are you fit for this course? And or it's more of what you want to do and where your interest lies in. If that matches, the questions I don't think is that relevant. It's all about having a conversation. It's about vibing. So every time after an interview, we say that, did you vibe with the interviewer? Then we'll be like, yeah, it was pretty good. If you think that you're vibing with the interviewer, then you are like selected. That's the thing. It's all about having a good conversation. That's it.
If I may pitch in here, so what my experience in all these years have been, that the partner schools are also interested in knowing you as a person. It's not only your credentials, your marks, your ZAT scores, your GMAT scores. They want to know who you as a person are, what your interests are, and then they see whether you fit into and are you open enough to accommodate and get into the culture. So that's what, because we've been initially we used to have all these interviews on campus. So that's what I've realized. It's not only your academics. They're really, really keen to know you as a person. And Professor Ghoshal is sitting here. He would be able to guide you also for the SPJIMR round. Please make sure that if you say that I'm really motivated to do A, so I want to go to say Kashmir is written in a SOP, while your interview, please don't go down south. There has to be some symmetry between what you've written and what you're saying. These people interview, students down the year. So if they know when you're there's all gas and no substance. So please be as true as possible. If you don't know anything, it's okay to say, I don't know, because, eventually nobody knows everything in the world. But if you are if you've done a finance and some basic questions from finance area are asked, you should be able to answer that. Or if you're working in a particular domain, if some question is asked from there, it's okay to take a minute, frame your answer, and then go ahead. So please just try and be yourselves. Don't try to use very big words and jargons and then just lose the opportunity. I think all of you would agree with that, right, alumni?
Yeah, just to attest to what Deepali ma'am said, I had mentioned that I'm into filmmaking. I love watching movies. So after a point of time, the interview just started asking about your favorite director, favorite movie, and what kind of movies you watch and why so, the different style of direction and stuff like that. So it's, as Namitha already mentioned, it's more of a conversation. We just want to know you as a person.
Yeah, means just think in this way. When you're doing an interview even in the university, this is a reflection of what kind of interviews you will have in the respective countries, right? So when you are having an interview in India, for example, with the SPJIMR professors, they are trying to find out how deep you are in and what like does what you are saying match with what you have written. So they go deep. Like I remember, I have very blur memories, okay, about it. It's 2018. So but like my initial questions were only about like lean management, lean manufacturing, production, Toyota production system, what is happening in automotive industry, where do we think we are going, why do we need inventory in the first place, like very deep questions. And after a certain point I didn't know, and it's fine. Like they were really fine with this because I have a limited experience, but within that limited experience, how much exposure I have and whether I'm justifying it with what I have written. And they were asking like, okay, you became like how to do a project management, what kind of projects you have handled, how do you approach a new vehicle. So that happened. When it comes to like international universities interviews, it was more about you, right? And then if you match it back to the universities like interviews here, the thing is here one big element is culture fit. So when you are interviewing for the company also, they want to know you as a person, because the understanding is the hard skills can be learned. That's fine. If you have a limited knowledge, if you have a very fundamental knowledge, you can build on it. They are not difficult to learn. But when it comes to social skills, when it comes to soft skills, that's where the things get tricky. So that's what they're checking. That's why, as everybody told, that they want to know you, they want to know your story, because when you're saying your story, they are understanding you as a person, they're exploring you as a person. And then they, in the back of their head, this is my assumption because I've never sat in an interview on the other side of the table, here peer-to-peer learning is much more important than faculty to student learning. Because so they are trying to match like, okay, what value does this person brings to the table as a peer, not as a student, as a peer. And that's what they are matching, that's what they are trying to check. And that's what important is. And when you go in, even in the industry, like I'll say, I received a rejection last year. Everything went good, perfect matching. And then there is 3 rounds of interviews normally here. One is HR, then you have a main interview with 2 or 3 high people, and then always there is a one round which team, and team is just checking the vibe. I got a rejection because I was not confrontational enough, right? That can also be a point, that the team was really confrontational. They will go at each other, and I was more on like, okay, I'm more of like, they thought they're right. Like like that time I would not confront a person very directly. So that was part of a rejection. And this is what is getting replicated when you are interviewing in university. So they are seeing what is the culture fit, what value you bring to the table. So there are 2 parts to it. One is technical part, which is, let's say, with the SP unit professors who are checking, and they are, don't lie, as Dipali ma'am said, do not bloody lie. Like even if you have a chance, if you're wonderful, you lie, you your chances go from 90 to 0 instantaneously. And there are the professors who are doing this night in night out from last, I don't know, 20-30 years, and they're expert in their fields. When they ask you, they know much more than you. So don't. So yeah, take interviews in this way. One is checking your matching your skills with what you have written. And second person is trying to know you and know what value you bring to the table as a peer. So yeah.
Yeah, just to add, little bit about the interviews. So we, don't look at any, particular, profile of a student. So whatever you are, you are. So you have to just justify, your education, your sort of work experience, your, why you want to go to a particular country, and be unique. And we are also looking at, what type of diverseness you bring to the table. We are not looking at stereotypes. You could be any graduate with any experience, no experience, from any part of India. So the more, some of them have been, Saregama, finally, some of them have been, great in sports, so also all your extracurricular matters. Don't just talk about your education, but about everything else you have done also. So those are the two bits on the interview.
Ravi, do we have any more questions, or anybody wants to?
Actually, no, ma'am. I guess you all covered so well. I guess the students are here so well. Like I can't see here all the questions. I think you cleared all the doubts. So,
can I request the alumni to leave behind their email IDs in case they want to get in touch with you?
yeah.
And a request to the aspirants, please appreciate that these guys are going to help you out after their work. And it's not that they're home and their meals are cooked or their clothes are washed. They're doing everything on their own. So please, they might take a little while to reply, but I'm sure they're going to reply if they're leaving their number, email IDs behind. So give them some time to reply, and please do your research, go through the website, come back to me, and then after that, go to them with relevant questions which only they can answer. Please don't go to them with questions like eligibility kya hai, right? Ya form kahan hai? Because these are very, very basic questions. All this is covered on the website. The GMP admission team is there to help you out. So please ask them questions. So ask them the right questions. Yeah, I think most of the things they've covered. Still, they'll be more than happy. Our details are there. I've left the number. Savi has our details. Gunjita, I think all your counselors know us. If there's anything, please connect with them, connect with us. The form is online. I've left the link behind for you guys. In case you're looking at completing the form, we are going to close the form around the 25th of April. For the people who've already started the admission process, round 1 is already done. The results are declared within the next 2-3 days, and we pass the information on to the partner school, and you'll be interviewed by them. And then the offer letters are rolled out. If somebody who doesn't have a score right now, you can fill in your form as a deferred candidate and give us your scores by mid of May to end of May. Please connect with me one-on-one for that. And if there's anything for the, are you leaving your numbers? I didn't see it, sorry.
Ma'am, the chat settings are actually, we can only message you or Savi. The chat needs to be updated.
Sure. So will you please put them on for me, and because even I can't change those settings because I'm not the host. Let me just see if I can do anything about it. Okay, so Jason has given his LinkedIn ID. Zeal, you'll also put yours? I'll just put it in for everyone. If it's okay, I can give your SPJIMR ID if you guys use them still.
Yes, ma'am, that works as well, and I've even DM'd you my LinkedIn.
दो-तीन दिन लग जाएंगे मैम
Sorry?
2-3 दिन लग जाएंगे to reply if you give experience ID. It's better to connect them.
Did I have their details? I have messaged Prateek directly.
I think as you put on the contact details.
Yeah, I'm putting their details for all of them. So I've put in Jason, Zeal, Namitha, yours I'm yet to put.
Yeah, so as you put, I just want to say, I have taught, all of them in the class, and so good to see, how well they have developed, and become much better and much mature, and the way they speak. So that gives us, a lot of happiness to the professors. So well done and do well.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
You're
you so
trying
much.
hard.
Yeah.
And I would also like to thank you, each and every one of you, for giving us time on your Sunday. I mean, you would have had so much of catching up and so many things to do. So thanks a lot, and we're really, really proud of you. Thank you for being there always.
Thank you for such
Always,
an
ma'am.
enlightening session.
Always a
Thank
pleasure.
you so much. And I'm sure student can also take a lot learning from here, and student can also ask freely whatever your question is. So thank you so much for such an enlightening session. Thank you so much.
Thank you to Bullseye to give us this platform.
Thank you so
Okay,
much.
bye-bye.
All right. Have a good day. Bye.
Bye.
Same to
Thank
you.
you all the
Have-
Bye,
participants.
everyone.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.
Thank you, sir.